Price inflation was the only KPI to grow year on year, with all others in decline. This is a continued trend. Price inflation at Total Market has impacted all other KPIs. The discounters and the high street were the only channels to see positive engagement. Winners in this period include Marks & Spencer, Aldi and Morrisons, all of whom grew value/volume and had growth ahead of market. At Total Market, price inflation was the only KPI to grow year on year. However, the decline across all other KPIs has resulted in value/volume decline overall. Morrisons declined against market. Higher average prices year on year have impacted all other KPIs similarly to market, but with Morrisons seeing a greater decline in shopper engagement. Winners include Marks & Spencer, Waitrose, Aldi and Sainsbury's. Marks & Spencer's share growth has been driven through tactical activity, including Rocket TPR, Kissabel Fresh Market Special and British End secondary in-store spacing at £2 price point tray, which has worked in driving sales momentum and trading shoppers up. Waitrose promoted across their tiers including premium, core, organics and entry, encouraging shoppers to trade up, but also driving value perception through their entry price point. They also ran 20% off core varieties through their Waitrose card, rewarding loyal shoppers. Aldi's spend growth ahead of volume has been impacted by reduced activity year on year, along with price inflation within the category and with promotional offers also inflated versus last year. Sainsbury's increased activity year on year with offers across tiers to drive premiumisation, but also remained competitive against discounters on their entry price point through their EDLP strategy through the Aldi Price Match campaign. Price inflation is seen across the high street except with Tesco, Marks & Spencer and Ocado, which has largely correlated to a decline in shopper engagement, trip volume and trip frequency. Winners in this period were all able to engage positively with new shoppers. Pink Lady remains as the winning variety, being the only variety to see positive penetration gains. All other core varieties have declined in value/volume except for Granny Smith Value, largely as a result of price inflation resulting in a drop-off in engagement, which is a continued trend. Over the latest quarter, Morrisons have seen switching losses, most notably to Aldi amongst others. Existing shoppers have spent less or traded down. Morrisons have lost out on lost shoppers and category departures. Morrisons declined against market in this period, in both value and volume, with all core varieties declining against market. Morrisons have, however, outperformed market across their premium varieties Pink Lady and Jazz. Growth on Pink Lady was driven through the 2 for £3 on Pink Lady tray, which continues to drive penetration and trip volume. Price deflation across Jazz has resulted in increased engagement and has encouraged shoppers to trade into the premium variety. Morrisons' biggest loss is coming via Royal Gala, which holds the lion's share of the category. Shoppers are switching to other retailers where there has been tactical activity running throughout the season, something Morrisons has not been able to get behind. Winning variety Pink Lady and Other has been able to drive significant category arrivals during this period for Total Market. All other core varieties have struggled to engage with shoppers, except All Other, in which shoppers have traded into seasonal packs. Morrisons followed the trend of the market, however they were able to grow shopper engagement in Jazz as well as Pink Lady and Other. At Total Market, Organics was the only pack format to grow spend and volume with growth across all of its KPIs. Price inflation across all pack formats has resulted in a decline in shopper engagement, with shoppers trading down into entry. Morrisons outperformed market on loose and tray. The decline in polybag has been impacted by price inflation as a result of reduced activity year on year, with shoppers trading up into tray. At Total Market, all pack formats except loose and entry grew value and volume share. Morrisons grew value and volume share in tray at the expense of all other formats. Total Market pairs have declined in value and volume, with price inflation setting back all other KPIs. Price inflation within Morrisons grew spend but has eroded volume. Although the market has seen price inflation, the decline in spend overall is as a result of the decline of all other KPIs, including penetration, trip volume and trip frequency. Winners over the latest period include Marks & Spencer, Aldi, Morrisons and Sainsbury's. Marks & Spencer's performance was driven through increased activity year on year across core and niche varieties, featuring loose conference, ready-to-eat commerce and ready-to-eat conference on TPR versus ripen at home conference EDLP last year. Aldi has grown spend ahead of volume in this period, driven through price inflation. Aldi promoted conference on Super 6 TPR, which has driven frequency of purchase along with TPR on ready-to-eat to trade shoppers up into the top tier. Morrisons' promotional strategy has focused on 2 for £3 across both ready-to-eat conference and seasonal SKUs, along with TPR activity on its ripen at home sweet pears versus last year when the 2 for £3 did not run. Sainsbury's continue to promote something for everyone with mini pear polly on Aldi price match along with TPR on ready-to-eat sweet and juicy. While Sainsbury's has not brought in new shoppers in this period, the offer encourages existing shoppers to stay within the category. Over the latest period, Morrisons had switching gains largely to Tesco amongst others. As well as this, existing shoppers have traded up or spent more, and there have been shoppers won and category arrivals. Williams was the winning variety in this period, the only variety to engage with new shoppers and see value growth. All other core varieties lost out and declined in value and volume. Please note, Williams is likely to have been the seasonal packs with Williams down year on year. Morrisons' growth against market has been driven through other. Price deflation is as a result of tactical activity on sweet pear polly 99p to 59p, which has worked in driving new shoppers and competing against the value proposition of the discounters. Morrisons also promoted their seasonal ready-to-eat pack on the 2 for £3 offer, which encouraged shoppers to trade up. While Morrisons outperformed market on conference spend, they saw a decline in volume growth. This was as a result of price inflation. Reduced promotional activity on conference has inflated its price year on year. For total market, ready-to-eat tray and organics were the only pack formats to grow in value/volume as shoppers have traded up into premium tiers. Morrisons outperformed market on ready-to-eat tray, driven through the 2 for £3 offer on ready-to-eat conference and seasonal packs, which encouraged shoppers to trade up from core ripen at home. At total market, ready-to-eat tray, polybagged variety and organics grew value/volume share. Morrisons grew value/volume share on ripen at home tray and ready-to-eat tray at the expense of all other pack formats. At total market, price deflation has eroded spend with a decline in shopper engagement and trip frequency, holding back volume growth. The steeper rate of deflation within Morrisons has eroded value ahead of volume. Over the latest period, price deflation across all channels except the high street has eroded spend. Despite the level of deflation within the marketplace, the category is struggling to engage with shoppers. Winners over the latest period include Marks & Spencer, Aldi, Morrisons and Sainsbury's. Marks & Spencer's performance was driven through increased activity year on year across core and niche varieties, featuring loose conference, ready-to-eat commerce and ready-to-eat conference on TPR versus ripen at home conference EDLP last year. Aldi has grown spend ahead of volume in this period, driven through price inflation. Aldi promoted conference on Super 6 TPR, which has driven frequency of purchase along with TPR on ready-to-eat to trade shoppers up into the top tier. Morrisons' promotional strategy has focused on 2 for £3 across both ready-to-eat conference and seasonal SKUs, along with TPR activity on its ripen at home sweet pears versus last year when the 2 for £3 did not run. Sainsbury's continue to promote something for everyone with mini pear polly on Aldi price match along with TPR on ready-to-eat sweet and juicy. While Sainsbury's has not brought in new shoppers in this period, the offer encourages existing shoppers to stay within the category. Over the latest period, total market has continued to decline across both pack formats. Price deflation, however, within ready-to-eat has encouraged shoppers to trade up away from ripen at home. Morrisons followed trending to market with ready-to-eat outperforming ripen at home. This was also aided through tactical activity on their ready-to-eat pack, which featured on the Market Street special 99p to 59p. Morrisons had switching losses, mostly to Tesco. Existing shoppers have spent less or traded down, as well as losing current shoppers and category arrivals altogether. At Total Market, Ripen at Home tray and ready to eat loose were the only pack formats to grow share. Morrisons grew share across its ready to eat loose and tray, with Ripen at Home losing out. At Total Market, price deflation has grown volume ahead of spend, with the category being able to positively engage with new shoppers, something it has struggled with previously. Morrisons declined against Market in this period, impacted by reduced availability and ranging year on year. KPI performance across the channels has been mixed, with discounters coming out on top with growth across all KPIs. Winners over the latest period include Lidl, Aldi and Sainsbury's, all of which gained share and had growth ahead of Market. Lidl had better availability year on year across the plum category, including ready-to-eat deluxe plums and an additional Ripen at Home plum SKU versus one last year. They also promoted ready-to-eat donut nectarine and Ripen at Home peaches on TPR in December, with no other activity on the high street. Aldi had increased ranging year on year, including Plum Family Pack and Ripen at Home Nectarine. They also had better availability of their Ripen at Home plums in December and had increased plum ranging through the addition of wonky plums. Price deflation within Sainsbury's has grown volume ahead of spend, with TPR activity on Ripen at Home peaches and better availability on their plum range, including Ripen at Home plums family bag, ready to eat plums and organic plum. Morrisons had switching losses, predominantly from across the high street. Morrisons shoppers traded down and they have lost shoppers. However, they did see positive category arrivals. At Total Market, plums was the only commodity to grow in value and volume, with all other commodities in decline. Morrisons outperformed Market on apricots, however lost out on nectarines, peaches and plums. Seasonal availability has been a challenge, which has impacted Morrisons' availability and ranging year on year, with no whiteflesh nectarine or plum pre-Christmas versus availability last year. At Total Market, both tray formats, Ripen at Home and Ready to Eat, along with Ready to Eat Punnet, grew in value and volume, largely as a result of increased engagement. Morrisons lost out to Market across all pack formats except Ready to Eat tray volume. Growth in volume was as a result of price deflation, driving shopper engagement and volume per trip. Over the latest period, Total Market grew share across Ripen at Home tray and both Ready to Eat pack formats. Morrisons grew share across Ready to Eat tray, with all other pack formats losing out.